This changes everything for the Steelers. The Steelers have come out and said today that they decided that they want to move on from Russell Wilson and go in another direction at quarterback for the future. My name is Peyton Kleppy with today's episode of Steelers Digest. Real quick, if you guys aren't subscribed, click that subscribe button down below. It's going to help me grow this channel moving forward. Every day I'm going to get you news about draft, about trades, coaching, players, tons of stuff like that. So click that subscribe button. It's going to help me out as we grow this channel. So let's get right into this news. So an NFL insider today, about 3 or 4 hours ago, came out and said that Russell Wilson and the Steelers are probably going to part ways. This came out by a report from Jay Glazer, and since then, there's been a lot of news sources that have come out and confirmed this. This is real great news for me, not so great news for Russell Wilson. In previous videos, I've stated that Russell Wilson is not the guy for the Steelers moving forward. He's 36 years old, but he's got a Super Bowl, but he's just not the same guy he used to be. He did make a Pro Bowl this offseason in relief of Josh Allen, but I don't think he really deserved it. It's more of just a stat for him, but it'll be interesting to see where he decides to go in free agency. He also posted on Twitter, thank you, Jesus, for a new day. That could be referring to the report that came out as the Steelers decided they want to move on from Russell Wilson. You know, Russell was a great leader in our locker room. He really changed our offense when he came in for the when he was finally healthy. You know, he started off, I think, 4-5-1 as a starter, and he had a great game against Cincinnati Bengals with 414 yards, and I believe he had a few touchdowns as well. So, you know, he finished the season. If you look at it, he did finish the season with, I believe, 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He also had 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns in there. So, what is that? About 18 total touchdowns and 5 interceptions. But that does not take into account, he did take a ton of sacks every game, averaged like 3 or 4 sacks a game. And he also fumbled the ball a lot. And, you know, he was not mobile at all anymore, and it was really tough because, you know, in the past, Russ was a really good guy. He's a veteran, as we see here. He's that Mr. Unlimited personality where he's going to come in, he's going to change your team, he's going to bring that charisma and that the drive. But, you know, the Steelers need a culture change. That 5-6 game collapse was really tough to swallow at the end of the season, and you know, it was tough. So if we look at stats by our other quarterback, Justin Fields, compared to Russell Wilson, Justin Fields only played in 10 games, 5 passing touchdowns, 5 rushing touchdowns, and he didn't even throw an interception. So actually, I think that statistic may be wrong. I think he did throw one or 2 interceptions, but you know, he had 10 total touchdowns, he had 106 completions, 161 pass attempts, and you know, he was a mobile quarterback. He stayed real calm in the pocket, and the games he did lose came down to the last minute. I believe those games were the Colts game and the Cowboys game, and both those games came down to the last couple seconds, last couple minutes. So, you know, Justin Fields is a really viable option as the Steelers look to move forward. You know, I really like Justin Fields a lot. Justin Fields got drafted by the Chicago Bears in, I believe, 2017-2018 draft. Excuse me, I think it was 2020. Sorry. But, you know, he came in for them, and he had a few up and down seasons. He had 1,000 yards rushing in one of his seasons, but he could never really capitalize with the Bears organization, with the Bears offense. And he showed glances, and he showed potential, but, you know, he was really never the number one guy. He did not show very much franchise quarterback play when he was playing in Chicago, but when he did come to the Steelers, he looked really well. You know, this guy's young. He's only 25, 26. He's got great set of legs. You know, he's running out there like Lamar Jackson. The only knock on him is, you know, he's pretty inconsistent with his passing, and I believe this year was his best year. He really didn't have a huge opportunity. You know, he only played in 10 games, and that was really in the relief of Russell Wilson. Coach Tomlin put Russell Wilson in as soon as he was healthy, and you know, reports came out later on in the season that our offensive coordinator Arthur Smith did not agree with this decision by Coach Tomlin, and he actually had a tough time working with Russell Wilson. There was also some reports that he didn't even let Russell Wilson change the plays. So in today's NFL, you need that audible game. You need to be able to change plays when you're at the line of scrimmage. So, hopefully next year we re-sign Justin Fields and we allow him to make audibles. This guy's an athlete as well as a quarterback. He's not just a pocket passer. He can expand. He can extend plays with his legs. And, he's got a lot of potential. And I'd probably say more potential than any quarterback we've had since Ben Roethlisberger in 2021. Every other guy that we had was either a pocket passer who was inconsistent with their throwing arm or was an older veteran who just struggled immensely. Russ was great when he came in, but I'm very glad that Omar Khan has decided he wants to move on from Russ. We'll see where Russ goes. There's not too many options for him. Some teams to look out for, I'd say, is probably the Giants, maybe the Browns, as well as, some struggling teams like the Saints. There's definitely some question marks around Derek Carr and his future. So there's also some teams that you could look for, like who else? The Jets. The Jets need a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers probably will not be back in New York after last year. So it'll be really interesting to see where Russell Wilson goes. But I'm just excited that the Steelers have decided they don't want him. And this probably means that our next quarterback one will be Justin Fields. Whether or not he remains the starter will be to be seen. But currently, if Russ leaves, we won't have any quarterbacks on our roster. So I say re-sign Justin Fields. We'll have Skylar Thompson, who he's definitely a career backup. He's not going to be our starter. So we're going to have Skylar Thompson, Justin Fields, and like I talked about in a previous video, I hope we can draft Jalen Milroe in the first round. He would be a great quarterback that could sit under Justin Fields, learn from him. Jalen Milroe plays a lot like Lamar Jackson in college. There's people that have made comparisons about him, but there have been some recent knocks on Jalen Milroe in the past couple weeks, past couple months. In his measurements, he's got the smallest hands in NFL history, I believe. That is very similar to our other guy that we drafted a few years ago, Kenny Pickett, who had some small hands. People were throwing shade at him, and they're doing the same with Milroe. So another thing about Milroe is this: he did not have a great showing at the Senior Bowl. He had a few pretty not so good passes. So, but I'm very excited for this future with the Steelers. I'm very excited to see where they go for the next quarterback. Hopefully not a guy like Sam Darnold or Kirk Cousins. I really would not like to dish out any big money to some veteran quarterbacks. Hopefully Omar Khan learned his lesson after the Russell Wilson experiment, and hopefully we'll get Justin Fields under contract soon. That's all I got for you guys today. Thanks so much. Click that subscribe button again if you guys have not. Peace.